Hi, I'm Miles from GoEV, and today we're looking at the Vauxhall Vivaro-e Life. This is a 9-seat vehicle, ideal for larger families or ideal for taxis and private hire also. Let's take a look in more detail. The Vauxhall Vivaro-e is designed to be used primarily in an urban situation. Its range, in this case with the 50 kilowatt-hour battery, is quoted as 174 miles. That's really going to happen more when you're on urban streets, and this is the difference between this sort of vehicle as an electric and a traditional diesel or petrol car, is that normal petrol diesel vehicles get the worst range around town and the best when they're out on the motorway. This is kind of the opposite. So what we're seeing is that this will get a range of around 170 miles when we're out on the running around town, and if you take it on the motorway, you're probably going to see close to around 110, 120 miles, depending on terrain, depending on how heavy you are with people and things. So more for your sort of Manchester city centre, getting around the new clean air zone which has come in, and making sure that we've got zero emissions in our towns and cities. That's what this vehicle's been designed for, and that's where it's going to really give you the best range. The Vivaro-e Life comes in two specifications. It comes in the 9-seat combi variant, which is a little bit more utilitarian, a little bit more rugged, and just sneaks in underneath the £35,000 price level to be able to benefit from the £2,500 government plug-in car grant. Or it comes in the Elite specification, which has alloy wheels, panoramic roof, plusher seats inside, but that's an 8-seater rather than this 9-seat variant we've got today. This version though is ideal for private hire, taxis, or anyone that's looking for plenty of seats for family, but also plenty of space to take things on a bit more rugged adventure, perhaps throw some bikes in the back of, or if you've got plenty of dogs, etc. So let's take a closer look and see what it's like inside. So on the inside of the Vivaro-e, we have got a drive mode selector, so we've got Eco, Normal or Power mode. In Eco it still can get up to 70, 80 miles an hour easy enough. It just limits your maximum power so you don't accelerate with full force. But it does mean you get a few more miles on your range. It also turns down the heating and controls a bit as well, so that you get a bit more range that way. We've got this little toggle switch here, which is for changing between drive, neutral, reverse, buttons for park. We've got a B mode as well. B mode helps you to use more regenerative braking when you're going downhill, so that captures more energy, allows you to go a bit further as well. We've got climate control settings on here with air conditioning. We've got USBs for the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, or just streaming your music through the car. And it's got Bluetooth streaming on there as well. We've got an electronic parking brake which is hidden down here, nice and out of the way, and it means that you're not losing any dash space for things like that. And then the display itself, very, very clear, very simple to follow, very simplistic really. We've got a big power gauge which goes Eco and then over into the power section if you put your foot down hard. We've got a battery gauge which gives a bit of a fuel tank readout for the how much power is actually in the big battery. And then we've got a speedometer which is analog, but we've also got a digital speedometer which can be displayed in the centre console of the display as well. This particular vehicle's also got cruise control and a speed limiter function also. So overall we've got, windscreen wipers, horn, lights, the usual stuff that you'd normally find in a car. It's all very straightforward, it's all in the same places you'd expect it to be. The only real difference being that rather than a gear lever, instead we've got this toggle switch. So it's simple to get in and just drive, even if you've never driven an electric or an automatic vehicle before. Access by those sliding doors on either side, we've got access to 3 seats in the middle and another 3 seats in the back here. So ideal for getting plenty of passengers on board. There's also a double front seat next to the driver, so in total you have 8 passenger seats plus the driver. So even in the rearmost seats you've got plenty of legroom, plenty of headroom obviously, and there's still a cavernous boot behind me. These middle row just tilts forward so that you can get easy access to the back. They can actually also be completely removed if you want to transform this into a van for carrying long loads, etc. But we've got 3-point seat belts all the way through, even in the middle seats here. And it's it's what you need to be. You know, if you're carrying lots of passengers, it's ideal. This particular model has been had the optional extra of tinted windows, rear parking sensors, and also a navigation system up front. Although standard, it does come with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, so you don't necessarily need to go for the navigation option. If you've got a smartphone, you can just plug that in and that'll work as well. This being the combi spec, it is painted panels in the back rather than finished off door cards. If you go for the Elite spec, you do get quite a lot more extra kit in terms of interior panels, make it a lot more finished off, a bit more like a VIP transport solution rather than this, which is more utilitarian, but overall plenty of space and very comfortable. Now, it's no good having loads and loads of seats if you've got nowhere to put any luggage. Fortunately, with this model, we have a cavernous boot. Plenty of room for 10 big suitcases. If you're doing a trip to the airport or something like that, plenty of room for people, and you can of course remove these seats completely and make it into a massive long wheelbase van as well if you wish. So in order to hit that £35,000 price point, Vauxhall's done a couple of things. It's supplied this vehicle, the combi version, with fairly rugged black bumpers. Moving around, it's also got the steel wheels fitted to this vehicle also. Now, the Vivaro-e van comes with a possible two battery sizes, either 50 kilowatt hour or 75 kilowatt hour. But with these, because of the weight of all the seats and everything inside, it's only available with a 50 kilowatt hour battery. And that gives a range of around 170 miles on the WLTP combined test. The charging socket for the vehicle is up front here. You see we've got both Type 2 connectivity and also CCS for rapid charging. On the rapid charging, it'll charge on up to 100 kilowatt chargers, so it does mean that it'll charge very rapidly also. With this vehicle having a 50 kilowatt hour battery, in terms of how much it's going to cost you to run, at the moment it's been averaging on the motorway around sort of 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour, which means that I pay at home about 13 pence per kilowatt hour for my electricity. So it's going to cost me roughly 5 pence per mile to drive this vehicle. But around town, the range will go up. So if I'm getting 3 or 4 miles per kilowatt hour, which is what I'm likely to do around town, then we're going to see that actually the cost per mile is going to come down close to around sort of 2 or 3 pence per mile. Vastly cheaper than a petrol or diesel car, particularly in an urban environment. So a complete charge of this battery at my house at 13 pence per kilowatt hour is going to cost me around £6 for a full charge. So less than the cost of 1 gallon of petrol or diesel. So this is where these sort of cars can really pay for themselves, and of course with clean air zones coming into Manchester and other cities, we're going to see a lot of people wanting to switch to this sort of electric vehicle because it can save them on any congestion charges, as well as on the running cost itself. If you'd like more information about the Vivaro-e, either the van, the combi, or the Life edition with the 9 or 8 seat option, get in touch with Chorley Group Ormskirk Vauxhall today.